traditional stories help us share our own stories with each other. So if you hear a traditional tale, you hear a folk tale or a fairy tale or a myth, so often what that story provokes in us is resonance with our own experience. The moment in the story where the heroine receives the red flower she's been longing for all of her life, and it comes out of nowhere into her possession. Maybe that makes me think of the time I was able to go on the journey and travel to the place I'd always wanted to travel to, or when I made the friendship I'd been longing for all of my childhood. We all have these moments, I think, that can resonate with when the thing we most deeply long for suddenly is in our lives. And to then be able to share our personal stories around those things with each other, what's triggered by the story in our own biography. And we share that and hear from others what the story brings to life for them. And then suddenly their experiences shed more light on the story. And the particular genre of traditional story that I am most excited by at the moment is the wonder tale genre. So we've got folk tales which are rooted strongly in cultures and in places and in people. And then you've got myth, and the realm of myth, which is gods and goddesses and the cosmos and how things were created and came into being. And between these two realms, you've got the realm of the wonder tale, the realm of dream and night knowing, and the realm of soul journey, and all the things that happen to us in our lives, the challenges and the triumphs, and how the soul has its course to walk of navigating these things. The wonder tales give us a lot of wisdom around this part of our experience, and they're often talked about being called wonder tales because they make us wonder many things. What happens in these stories is really inexplicable, or makes no sense. How does the character manage to do that? How could you possibly put 3 dresses and 3 golden objects into a tiny nut and carry it with you? That makes no sense. But these questions all encourage us to look at what this story could be offering us as an image for a lived experience. I'm thinking and learning a lot at the moment about the power of being able to share our own stories with each other, the power of being witnessed in sharing our personal experiences, our lived experiences, and our biographies, the narratives of our lives, and also the power of being the witness to someone else sharing those things. It's a core part of the work of restorative justice, which I work in as a volunteer facilitator, bringing people together who have hurt each other, and taking them through a process of working together to repair the harm that was done. The key to all of that is really a process of humanising between both parties, and how when we start to see the human in each other, then we can find compassion, and compassion can be the first step towards forgiveness or reconciliation, which so often is the most healing thing for the person who's been hurt. In that process, vital so often to being able to humanise each other is being able to really listen to each other's story, or to be able to speak one's own story and really have it heard by the other person. So I'm fascinated by the power of that, and how so often an apology is not what's needed. What is needed is just being heard or being seen. In the work that I'm doing around using storytelling as the starting point for workshops and group processes and personal and professional development, this is this really juicy kernel at the heart of it, because the traditional stories give us this key to crack open our own experiences. And where talking about our own experiences can be really daunting, and a very vulnerable thing to do, the traditional stories can give us a kind of depersonalised language for talking about what we've lived through. So, for example, with the story of the 2 wolves, which you can find a clip of on this website, we're talking about the 2 parts of the selves, the negative parts of the self and the positive parts of the self, and how all of this is mixed up inside us. And when working with a group recently, we were doing a sharing circle talking about different times that our different wolves have been fed, which could be quite a vulnerable thing to talk about, the times when the nastier part of yourself has come to the light. But in using that story, the group very quickly developed a language around the scruffy wolf and the fluffy wolf. And so by the end of this sharing circle, we had this beautiful way of referring to these parts of the self that can be harder to talk about, that felt depersonalized, that felt shared. And that is a core reason why I'm so passionate about working with traditional stories, is the language that they give us for looking at ourselves, looking at the people that we're in community with or in connection with, and also looking at what's going on in the wider world and being able to talk about it through a shared language that we can all understand.